Welcome to Session 13 of the series An Introduction to the Divine Principle. In this session, The Path of Restoration, Part 4, we're going to look to see how God worked in Abraham's family in order to prepare the foundation for the Messiah. In the previous session, we saw how, through the principle of restoration, God attempted to prepare a foundation upon which he could send the Messiah in Adam's family and Noah's family. In Abraham's family, although we are going to encounter more setbacks, we are also going to find signs of great hope and the beginnings of success in God's effort to prepare a foundation for the Messiah. 400 years after Noah, God chose Abraham to be the person of faith who would stand as God's representative. Abraham's course began when God called Abraham to leave his home, guiding him through the wilderness to the land of Canaan. There, God made a covenant with Abraham. God intended to bless Abraham's family, and from his family raise up a people who would be able to receive the Messiah. But before that could happen, Abraham's family had to first successfully establish the foundation for the Messiah. The first step for Abraham was to successfully lay the foundation of faith. For that purpose, God asked Abraham to make an offering. The offering consisted of dividing animals in half: a cow, a ram, a she-goat, and 2 birds. Abraham divided the cow and the ram and the she-goat, but he did not divide the 2 birds. At that point, birds of prey came down upon the offering. These birds were a sign that Abraham's offering was not acceptable. Scripture does not say why he did not offer the 2 birds. Maybe he was lazy, or perhaps he was overconfident and did not invest his whole heart in the offering. Whatever the reason, after the birds of prey descended on his offering, Abraham fell into a deep sleep, and a terrible darkness descended upon him. And God told him that his descendants would have to suffer 400 years as slaves in a foreign land. We don't have time for more detail here, but Abraham failed to fulfill his responsibility to lay the foundation of faith. At this point, what could God do? Although God does not usually give us a second chance, on the foundation of Abel and Noah's successful offerings of faith, God called Abraham again and asked him to make a greater condition of faith. God told Abraham to offer his son, Isaac. It seems like an impossible request, but Abraham denied himself, and with the help of Isaac, who because of his deep love and trust in Abraham was a willing offering, was able to make an acceptable offering. This is one of the most remarkable stories of the Bible. When God saw Abraham's faith, God sent an angel to stop him from killing Isaac. Then Abraham and Isaac found a ram caught in a thicket, and together they offered the ram to God as the indemnity condition of faith. Thus, Abraham and Isaac together fulfilled the first condition, the foundation of faith, that God needed in order to prepare to send the Messiah. Next, in order to complete the foundation for the Messiah, God needed someone to fulfill the condition to reverse the fallen nature. For that purpose, God called upon 2 brothers, just as he did in Adam's family: the elder brother in the position of the archangel, and the younger brother in the position to represent God's side. These were Isaac's twin sons, Esau and Jacob. Esau was the firstborn, and like Cain, he represented the archangel. Jacob was the secondborn, and like Abel, he represented God. It is interesting to note, in this story, we begin to see the important role that women play in God's providence. The mother of the 2 boys, Rebekah, recognized that Esau, the elder, was not the one who should receive the blessing. She realized that if the blessing went from Isaac to him, it would be lost, and so she focused on Jacob and raised him, guiding him to seek the position of his elder brother. One day, Esau came back from hunting. Overcome by hunger, he demanded food from Jacob. Jacob saw this as an opportunity and asked his brother to allow him to take the position of firstborn in exchange for some bread and lentil soup. Esau agreed and took the food. Later, when Isaac had grown old, he called Esau and told him to go hunting and to prepare him a meal, at which point he would give him the blessing as the elder son. But Rebekah overheard this, and she sent Jacob, just to look like his brother Esau, to Isaac with a meal. Isaac, because he was old and almost blind, did not realize it was Jacob, and gave Jacob the blessing. When Esau learned what happened, he became furious, and he made a pledge that he would kill Jacob. When Rebekah learned of this, she told Jacob to run away, to live in Haran with her brother Laban. Jacob lived under Laban for 20 years. During that time, Laban took advantage of Jacob repeatedly. God eventually blessed Jacob with wealth, and then commanded him to return to his brother. During Jacob's journey to meet Esau, God sent an angel, representing the archangel in spirit, to wrestle with Jacob. All night, Jacob wrestled with the angel. Finally, the angel struck Jacob in the hollow of his thigh and demanded that Jacob release him. But Jacob answered, "I will not release you unless you bless me." And the angel blessed Jacob and gave him a new name, Israel. The next day, Jacob, who was now Israel, went on to meet his brother Esau, the physical representative of the archangel. With amazing humility, Jacob offered half his wealth to his brother, bowing before him 7 times. This moved Esau's heart, and Esau gave up his determination to kill Jacob, and he humbled himself, and he embraced him. From God's perspective, this was one of the great moments in human history. For the first time, God was able to find a family, men and women working together, who were able to fulfill the human portion of responsibility. They accomplished the necessary conditions of indemnity to reverse what had happened in the fall. Abraham and Isaac established the condition of faith, and, with the help of Rebekah, Isaac's sons Esau and Jacob were able to reverse the fallen nature. It is because of this accomplishment that God would later send the Messiah to the Jewish people, Jacob's descendants. At this point, you may ask, why didn't the Messiah come at that time? Jesus wasn't born for almost 2,000 more years. At the time of Adam and Noah, God only needed one family in order to prepare for the Messiah. But after Noah, God had to deal with the kingdoms and empires of the fallen world. This meant that preparing a family foundation for the Messiah was not enough. When the evil world has kingdoms and empires with vast armies, a family foundation would not be enough to protect the coming Messiah from being killed. For this reason, God needed to expand what Abraham's family had accomplished to a larger scale. God needed a kingdom that would be able to receive the Messiah. Therefore, after Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob's victory, God was determined to take the family-level foundation that was established in Abraham's family and expand it to a national-level foundation. That is why God sent Moses, to prepare an entire people ready to receive the Messiah. In the next session, we are going to reveal how God worked beyond Abraham's family, clear to the birth of Jesus, in order to prepare a people who would be able to receive the Messiah.